Welcome. Due to the circumstances of the COVID-19 pandemic, we are currently unable to gather to honor our veterans as we usually would. It may look different than what we are used to, but that does not mean these men and women have been forgotten. At this time, please remove your headphones, silence any cellular devices, and close all Chromebooks to ensure a respectful environment. November 11th holds a special significance in the lives of American citizens, where it was on the 11th day of the 11th month of the 11th hour in 1918 that the armistice was signed, ending World War I. 3 years later, the remains of an American serviceman, known but to God, were laid to rest in Arlington National Cemetery. Similar ceremonies were observed on the same day in France and England. This poignant ceremony was the very first celebration of Armistice Day. In 1948, Congress passed a resolution naming Armistice Day as a national holiday. In 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a veteran of World War II, signed a bill changing the holiday name to Veterans Day in honor of all Americans who have dedicated their lives to the cause of freedom. President Eisenhower said, "I, President of the United States, do hereby call upon all American citizens to observe November 11, 1954 as Veterans Day. On this day, we solemnly remember sacrifices of all those who fought." My name is Elena Anderson, and I would like to welcome all students and staff to Grayling High School's annual Veterans Day Assembly. At this time, please rise and state the Pledge of Allegiance within your class.
Thank you, Elena. At this time, taps will be played to honor our veterans. There are no official words to this song, but its meaning is, the day is done. Tap serves as a vital importance in ceremonies honoring those who have lost their lives while serving. Taps will be played by Sean Helliker and Katie Mahaffey.
Thank you, Kylie. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the table at the front of the stage. We ask you to remain seated and silent as we conduct the POW MIA ceremony. This ceremony is rich with military tradition as we honor those men and women of our armed forces who, in defense of the freedoms of our country and that of the free world, are unaccounted for and are classified as prisoners of war or missing in action. At all military functions where meals are served, these heroes are always honored and remembered. This table is set for all our prisoners of war and those missing in action from all wars, for they are not with us today. This table is round to show that our concern for them is never ending. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms so that their children could remain free. The lone candle symbolizes the frailty of a prisoner alone, trying to stand up against his oppressors. The candle and the yellow ribbon remind us of those who will not be coming home. The single red rose reminds us of the loved ones and families of our comrades in arms who keep the faith and await their return. The black napkin stands for the emptiness these warriors have left in the hearts of their friends and family. A lemon is on the bread plate to remind us of their bitter fate if we do not bring them home. There is salt on the plate, symbolic of the family's tears as they wait and remember. The glass is inverted, reminding us that our distinguished comrades cannot be with us to toast a drink or join in the festivities today. The POW MIA flag mourns the fact that many of our comrades will not return to our shores and pay tribute for their passing. The empty chair depicts an unknown face, representing no specific soldier, sailor, airman, marine, or Coast Guardsman. As we look upon the empty table, do not remember the ghosts from the past, but remember our comrades. Remember those whom we depended on in battle. They depend on us to bring them home. Remember our friends. They are the ones we love, who love life and freedom as we do. They will remember what we do. Please honor and remember them. We will now show a video of many veterans singing their rendition of God Bless the USA.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife.
I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.
To be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land.
God bless the USA.
God bless the USA.
From the lakes of Minnesota
to the hills of Tennessee,
across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea.
from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say,
forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless this country. And I'm proud to be an American. Today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless, please bless the USA.
Thank you, McKaylee. I will now read the poem Prelude, The Truce by Siegfried Sassoon. Dim, gradual thinning of the shapeless gloom, shudders to drizzling daybreak that reveals disconsolate men who stomp their sodden boots and turn gold, sunken faces to the sky, haggard and hopeless. They who have beaten down the stale despair of night must now renew their desolation in the truce of dawn, murdering the livid hours that grope for peace. Yet these who cling to life with stubborn hands can grin through storms of death and find a gap in the clawed, cruel tangles of his defense. They march from safety in the bird-song joy of grass-green thickets to the land where all is ruined and nothing blossoms but the sky that hastens over them, where they endure sad, smoking, flat horizons, reeking woods, and found your trench lines, falling doom for doom. O my brave brown companions, when your souls flock silently away, and the island's dead shame the wild beasts of battle on the ridge, death will stand breathing in the field of war, since your unvanquished heart of it has been, and through some moon Valhalla there will pass battalions and battalions, the unreturning army that was you, the legions who have suffered in our dust.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. To support and defend. The Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. And to bear true faith. And allegiance to the same. That I will obey. The orders of. The President of the United States. And the orders of. Those officers appointed over me according to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God.
We celebrate Veterans Day on the anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I. The armistice that began on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The timing of this holiday is quite deliberate in terms of historical fact. But somehow it always seems quite fitting to me that this day comes deep in autumn, when the colors are muted and the days seem to invite contemplation. It is, in a way, an odd thing to honor those who died in defense of our country, in defense of us, in wars far away. The imagination plays a trick. We see these soldiers in our mind as old and wise, but most of them were boys when they died, and they gave up two lives, the one they were living and the one they would have lived. When they died, they gave up their chance to be husbands and fathers and grandfathers. They gave up their chance to be revered old men. They gave up everything for our country, for us. And all we can do is remember. I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. In memory of those who gave the last full measure of devotion, may our efforts to achieve lasting peace gain strength. Let us make a vow to our dead. Let us show them by our actions that we understand what they died for. Strengthened by their courage, heartened by their value, and borne by their memory, let us continue to stand for the ideals for which they lived and died.
In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. We shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and the success of liberty.
Thank you, Kennedy. In conclusion, let's celebrate the freedoms that we enjoy today due to the courage and bravery of those who have fought or are still fighting for our country. We appreciate the cooperation of students and staff who have made this assembly possible and hope that this has served as a reminder to appreciate those who have made and continue to make sacrifices of the United States. Thank you for attending today. This now concludes our annual GHS Veterans Day Assembly.